a story about the Hyundai Kona EV.
Do you?
This car, this small SUV, and I do mean small, is very popular in Europe and North America. The car actually has been difficult to purchase here in my area. In fact, there's a large waiting list, and allocation has to be given out to dealerships, and they only get a few of them, and they move rather quickly. Well, apparently they've just opened a new second factory, this time in the Czech Republic, to roll out almost double the amount of Kona EVs. So it's good to see that Hyundai has responded. They now have a second factory that's up and running. I believe 46,000 is what they're going to pump out in the Czech Republic. And their original factory in South Korea does about 48,000. But certainly being able to lighten the load on one factory, spread the cars out a little bit more, and hopefully those dealers that are dying for some allocation can get more of the vehicles because it's been short supply at this point, and a lot of people are forced to look elsewhere because they can't sit back and wait a year and hope to get allocation next year. So it's interesting to see that that they've taken the stance. Obviously, they're seeing it in their sales figures and figure it's a good play for them to double production.
Any indication if any of those European-made cars will make it to North America, or are they just for the EU market?
I would imagine they're for the EU market, and then that would free up the South Korea to produce more North American cars.
Right.
Yeah,
That would make sense. So, is this a carb state car, or is it nationwide? Because I've only seen one ever.
I think right now it's carb, but they're
Okay.
trying to go 50 states.
Yeah, there was one at the grocery store the other day at the Volta charger, and it upset me. And I realized it was not a fossil car. I was like, oh, okay.
you stepped down from your anger. At
Uh-huh.
that point. Yes.
Well, there's only two spots at the grocery store, and it's usually like a Nissan Leaf or a Prius Prime. I'm like, the Prius Prime, you're done before you even get to the register.
What's really nice about this car, this small SUV, is that it's a factor where it's up a little bit. You sit a little higher. It's a smaller car still, but it gets excellent efficiency mileage. The amount that they say from the EPA that it definitely gets it. And if you drive a little bit conservative, you get way over it. So it's a great little car. I've had the opportunity to ride around in one, and I know a number of people from the Waterloo Region EVA own them and rave about them. So it seems to be a solid little EV that is making a dent, and people are looking for it now.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Now I didn't drive the Kona. I haven't had the Kona yet, but I had the
Nero?
Kia Nero. Yeah. And I absolutely
It's the
fell in
same
love with Kia
platform,
Nero.
right?
Yeah, it pretty much.
Oh, are they?
If I could,
Do those have a partnership?
who? Hyundai and
Hyundai and Kia.
Kia?
Same company.
It
They're
is.
almost
the same
company.
Toyota Lexus. Same
Yeah.
company.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, a Toyota Lexus, Honda Infiniti, Tesla, it's like that.
Not accurate.
Yeah. But I keep asking to get a Kona, and I understand why they're not giving me one because they keep selling them. But if it's anything like the Nero, and the Hyundai Sonata that I drove for about a week and a half, I absolutely fell in love with that car. I remember 20 years ago when you couldn't give away a Hyundai, and now they just seem to be crushing it.
Who has
They-
the
they-
Genesis brand?
Hyundai.
Same company.
Same
Hyundai.
company.
Okay, yeah. So I knew they had that one. I didn't know they had the other two. Okay.
Yeah.
Genesis, Hyundai, Kia.
Supposedly they're separate
okay.
companies, but they're really the same company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Is it like Volvo and Polestar? They both qualified for separate
Yes.
200,000
Yeah,
vehicles because they're legally separate enough that they get separate allocations.
Yes.
But like you strip the metal off the outside of the frame, and they're the same car.
I don't.
One has
gets
nicer
more
seats.
plush interior.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Yeah.
And Russell, you had a Genesis, right? You did a review on our channel for a Genesis.
Yes,
Two
you did.
Genesis. Yeah.
Two. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I liked it. In fact, I'm talking to Hyundai right now, trying to get the Kona EV soon. I would like to do that. So Hyundai, to get it and drive it, because there's a whole spate of new Hyundais that I have not driven. The Nero, for instance. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, this
Absolutely.
is exactly what we need. EVs in more shapes and sizes and offerings and brands, and enough to fit all the niches. So I'm happy to see this, and that people are loving it. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I did a nice review on the Soul. I hated the turbo version, the turbo ICE version, but the EV version was a lot of fun to drive.
Cool.
So again, that strata of sort of that Kia being, how shall we say it, delicately, more entry level priced than Hyundai, and then Genesis being the luxury brand. It's good that all of those companies, or at least Hyundai and Kia, are developing vehicles at the same time, so that we hit different price points. We allow more buyers into the market.
It's almost
Exactly.
like Hyundai Kia have figured out the Scion Lexus Toyota model.